Morning, Ralph.
Morning, Sam.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Morning Sam, Morning Ralph, the podcast for restaurant technology professionals. And do we have a treat for you guys today?
I'm actually nervous, Paul.
I know.
Like, I don't normally get nervous before these things, but we're dealing with royalty today.
True.
So
We've got an OG. We've got an OG on the line today, man. And it's really cool. And he's probably one of the most inspirational dudes that we have in our industry. He's just knocking down boundaries and kicking down walls everywhere he goes. He's, I think, an inspiration for us all. We have Shawn Walcheff here, and Shawn is the host of Cali BBQ Media and the owner of multi-unit restaurant brand Cali BBQ, based in San Diego, California. And Shawn preaches to his vast audience, be the show, not the commercial, right? He urges restaurants to tell their story and share their mission to build strong relationships with their customers. And it's great advice, Shawn. So please welcome Shawn Walcheff.
Thanks for having me. You guys are way too kind. And more importantly, I'm really excited for anybody that's listening or will eventually watch this content, because you're my type of people. If you listen to a podcast, if you're trying to get educated, if you're trying to improve your business, if you're trying to build a strong network, podcasting and video and digital storytelling it's the best place to start, because you're not alone. I thought as a restaurant owner back in 2008 that I was a snowflake. I thought that I had these big ideas, me and my best friend from college opening up a sports bar, taking over a breakfast spot. And when we started trying to learn, there weren't many resources out there. And especially, Web 1.0, Web 2.0, we wanted to find other people that were winning. And there really wasn't much content. Here we are in 2024, and our goal is to get on as many shows like this and host as many shows and encourage other people to learn out loud. I just heard that on a recent podcast, and I think I'm going to steal it, because it's what we do. It's how I live. It's learning out loud.
Yeah.
So thanks for having me on the show.
thank you for being here,
Yes, man.
Shawn. And aside from me being nervous and even wondering what should I wear for Shawn,
What should I wear for Shawn?
I've been thinking about what I want to ask you. And I want to start, you talked about goals, but I want to talk about mission,
Sure.
right? So what is Shawn's mission? And really, if you could, how has that evolved from that time you did that toast unboxing video to today?
So I'll share a story. When I was in college, I went to the University of Colorado. I studied abroad my junior year, and I went to Alicante, Spain. When I was living with the family, learning Spanish, enjoying the Mediterranean culture. But my grandfather, I would call him payphone back in the day. So I would go to the payphone down by the Plaza de Toros, and I would call him and tell him what I was doing. And he was at the end of his life, but he was still running his real estate business. He was a retired medical doctor, but he really wanted to finish writing his life story. He was writing his memoir. And he said, Shawn, I don't have anybody that can help me write my story. I could really use your help. And it was at that time at the Plaza de Toros on the phone where I decided to transfer from the University of Colorado to the University of San Diego, back where my grandfather was. I never met my father. My grandfather raised me. He was a Bulgarian, destined to be a farm boy, but he loved education. He loved learning. He was curious, relentlessly curious. And I felt it was my time to go home and help him with his real estate portfolio, as well as help him write his life story. And when I think about what am I doing now, from a B2B storytelling space, that's what we do. We encourage others to, as we said in the beginning, be the show, not the commercial. When people think about marketing, they think about advertising. And I'm not against advertising. I need to make that more clear, because I haven't made that very clear in my messaging. I'm not against advertising. I'm just against advertising that sucks. I believe in storytelling. And I believe in education, and I believe that business owners want to surround themselves with great stories of people that are not only winning, but how did they fail? Because if you tell me, Chad, that you built a restaurant and it took you 10 years, but year 7, something unlocked in year 7 that you wish you knew in year 1, I want to know what that was. I would love to save 6 years of my life, 6 years of the amount of money and time and effort and headaches and tears. That's the things that we do, and that's why we learn out loud. So I chase my curiosity with my shows, the shows that we put on, and with Cali BBQ Media, we have Digital Hospitality, which is the show we've been doing since 2017.
Right.
We have Restaurant Influencers, which is the show we launched in 2022. We produce shows for other restaurant groups and technology companies. And the goals with all of these shows is to educate. It's to educate. It's not so much to entertain, but we want to be entertaining. We want to have fun. We want to surround ourselves with people doing really cool shit. And if they're doing cool things, tell the story, publish it.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Education is so important. And I think that the smarter tech founders out there, the smarter business owners, the smarter salespeople, marketers, you name it, they're the ones that are most curious, and also the ones that can or have figured out a way to put together a story to make what they're doing at least seem interesting. And I'd love to get your take a little bit on content creation. Content, you said advertising isn't marketing and marketing isn't advertising. It's like marketing is advertising with a connection. Marketing is all about making that connection. In order to make a connection with somebody, your story or your message has to resonate.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about content creation and how that plays a role in marketing a solution or yourself or your restaurant.
Yeah. I think for me, what I teach people, what's the number one human fear?
Snakes.
Failure.
Public speaking.
Public speaking. Yeah.
Right.
Public speaking.
That's right.
No one talks about internet speaking. And I talk about internet speaking because that's what we do when we encourage people to create content. When people say content, that's not living in real life. It's not giving a speech in real life. That's not content. Content is something that goes on the internet. But when I talk to executives and leaders and people that want to tell their story and founders about content or internet digital storytelling, they get scared. They get scared because they don't want to look stupid. They don't want to sound stupid. They don't want to stutter. They don't want something that's going to live on the internet that's going to be detrimental to who they are as a human, who they are as a father, who they are as a husband, who they are as an employer. These are the biggest fears that prevent 99% of people from posting content.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. I love that point of view because it's so real. I can remember even with this podcast, the first time we did a podcast actually on somebody else's show with Jeremy Juhl. Michael Beck and I went on his show and we were just getting started together. We were still trying to figure out everything, where our place was in the industry. And we jumped on Jeremy's show. And I remember just feeling a little bit like a deer in the headlights and wondering, oh my God, what are people going to think? What am I going to, I sound like a complete lunatic, like more so than I do regularly. and the funniest thing happened. I talked to Jeremy afterwards. I'm like, wow, Jeremy, so are we going to be able to edit this a little bit? Am I going to be able to see this? I'm really freaked out. And Jeremy's like, dude, you did great.
Yeah.
You were you. It's all cool. And lo and behold, Shawn, the podcast goes out there. I watch it. And you always have this visceral reaction to hearing your voice and seeing yourself, especially the first 1, 2, 3, 5 times. But as it turns out, we got 5 or 6 different leads that came in from that. And here we were thinking like, what a shit show that was.
Yep.
And guess what, guys? It's okay.
And so, Shawn, I know you like to get very practical with people. What are some of the things you share with people that have that fear? How do you help them get over it?
We have a formula that we teach, and that formula is quantity plus speed plus consistency will eventually equal quality. And the fear that everyone has, including myself, is that we want quality first. We see something we like, and we think that once I start my podcast, once I make my first video, once I do my first article or make my first newsletter, that it's going to be fantastic. And it's just not. It's a quantity problem. The quicker that you can get a quantity of shots on goal, the more you're going to score. You've got to do more. When we first started doing barbecue on the West Coast, still to this day, we get laughed at in San Diego. We live in a transplant city. People from Texas, people from the Carolinas, people from Kansas City. They're like, what do you think? Cali BBQ? What a joke. Quantity, speed, consistency. The brisket that we make today, 16 years after we started our journey, is a hell of a lot better than what we were doing in 2008 and 2009. When I look at the videos that we made for Toast, back when we switched from Aloha to Toast, our primary technology partner, and I said, we're going to make a Toast unboxing video and we're going to do a Toast going live video. It's embarrassing to look at what are we doing now for ourselves and our show, and having Shaquille O'Neal on the restaurant influencers and bringing in B-roll and having Dana White come into the middle. Like, what we're doing now compared to what we were doing 4 years ago, it's laughable. But I have to get over myself, and me getting over myself of what do I look like? What do I sound like? I have to hit publish and then figure out a way to build out a team so that we can publish more. My goal for 2025 is, how do I get my team from, we're doing 3 episodes of digital hospitality a week and 1 episode of restaurant influencers. How do I get to 7 episodes? I want 2 episodes of restaurant influencers, 5 episodes of digital hospitality. How do I do that? That's a quantity problem. But the more that we do it, the better that we get at doing our own shows, which helps improve the quality of the shows that we do for Incentivio, which they have data delicacies. Arun Kumar is a phenomenal host of that show. We have Craveworthy Brands, which Greg Majewski hosts that show. Everything that we learn by doing a quantity with speed, with consistency, helps us improve that quality.
That's right.
Shawn, what were some of your aha moments along the way that helped you become this version of Shawn where you know these things so confidently?
It's a good question. And I think going back to launching the first show, knowing in my heart that storytelling, long form storytelling, finding out the people that I admired, the Tim Ferrisses of the world, the Joe Rogans, the David Meltzers, the best of the best in the podcasting space, what are they doing and how are they doing it? They did a weekly show at minimum. And with that weekly show, they wrote an article, an in-depth article with links and backlinks and video and photos of, if somebody doesn't listen to my podcast, what if they hit my landing page of my website? Can I give them value? Can I give them the best takeaways of this guest that I have on? Those are the people, those are the aha moments of, we did this for 5 years. Our media company started in 2017. That's when I officially talk about launching our media company, telling other people's stories with Behind the Smoke, which eventually became Digital Hospitality. But we didn't make any money. I poured my own money. I poured the restaurant money into this crazy idea. Nobody listened to our shows. But I knew that I was chasing my curiosity and I was learning along the way. First 50 episodes, audio only. We didn't even do video. And then all of a sudden we brought in video and it unlocked everything. It was like, oh my God, I can take a long form video and turn it into a short form video. And now we have omni-channel storytelling.
Shawn, let's just build on that for a second, because it's so poignant what you said about having the ability to take content and then repurpose it.
Yep.
Right. When you make a block of content, whether that block of content lives as video, lives as audio, but it's content.
Yep.
And hopefully there's something within the kernel of it that's meaningful and has value. What I think as a marketer, I've learned a long time ago that when you take a valuable piece of content, there are opportunities to break that into chunks and to make it live in different channels.
Yep.
For example, you have these very successful shows digital hospitality, which is available on YouTube, but it's also you can watch it on your website. You're plugged into Spotify, right? You're on iHeartRadio. You have all these different distribution channels. But also, what is also generated from these great videos, or audio for that matter, is a transcript.
Correct.
Right? And with this transcript, now you have the ability to almost make a customized blog post. Or hell, I've seen people take really incredibly in-depth conversations and turn them into white papers.
Yep.
Going back to what you said, you have to, you got to do it.
Correct.
And you got to be consistent.
Yep. Yeah. The analogy that I talk about a lot because I have small kids is I think of the internet and modern marketing, modern storytelling as a playground. And I have a small boy, he's 7 years old now. My daughter, she's 5 years old. And I remember when they were just learning how to walk and going to the playground. And when they go to the playground, what do? They go and they find the easiest piece of equipment on the playground. They go to the slide and they learn how to climb the stairs. And they learn how to slide down the slide. And as a parent, you go and you try to guide them, right? You want to make sure that they're okay and that they're protected. But the more that they go to the playground and the more that they start to use different pieces of equipment, they start to swing on the swings, they start to use the monkey bars, they start to use the merry-go-round. It's all the same. It's all storytelling. That's what TikTok is. That's what LinkedIn is. That's what YouTube is. That's what Spotify. It's audio, video, words, images. And we make it more complicated than it needs to be. And when you boil it down to be the show, not the commercial, tell me a story. We're humans. If you have a great story that's good enough for one person, that's good enough for one Zoom call, that's good enough for one webinar, why is it not good enough and discoverable enough for a larger audience?
That's the point. I think that it is. And the reality is that when you look at the habits of viewers today, ranging from Gen Z through millennials and Xers up to boomers, the entire dynamic has shifted as to where they're spending their time and consuming content. It's you cannot discount YouTube, for example.
No.
You really can't. I think it dwarfs everybody. I think I saw a stat, and somebody will have to fact check me, but I think YouTube, you can fit Netflix, HBO, like all of the Disney, Hulu, you can almost combine them all together, and still YouTube is a larger market share of video consumption.
Absolutely.
It's bananas, right? So what are you, so you're a restaurant technology company, you're a restaurant. Should you have a YouTube channel, Shawn?
Absolutely. So Cali BBQ Media, we just hired 4 people to our team, which is great for the growth of what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish. But we were very intentional in who we hired to make sure that they were experts on YouTube. In full transparency, YouTube has not been our primary platform, but at the end of 2024, moving into 2025, that is where we will focus our time for our shows and for our clients. Meaning we'll build for YouTube first, and then we'll build everywhere else secondarily. We believe in video, but if there's a place for video, it's got to live in YouTube, and you got to have people dedicated to YouTube. I just brought a new chief content officer into Cali BBQ. So I got to the point where I run 4 Instagram channels: Shawn P. Walcheff, Cali BBQ Media, and Walchef Wolfpack, which is my family account. I can't create content and publish content and do my job and do everything else for all of those channels. So really the Cali BBQ, our barbecue brand, has been neglected based off of my bandwidth. Not because I don't believe in storytelling, not because I don't think that we should be doing great and amazing things on there, just because of my bandwidth. So I hired somebody. His name is Vince. His account is Marvelous Muncher. He's a local foodie. He had a podcast. He's the reason why I hired him. I didn't even put out a job posting. He earned that job, and I paid him top payment because I want to be his best client. And I know that if once he proves the storytelling on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and YouTube for me, I can sell his services. Why? Because he's a master storyteller.
Love it.
Shawn, can I jump in here, Paul? Let's talk about, you mentioned your clients, and I think it's very important to hit on that. Right? We all work with some and know and love really innovative companies in this space, in the restaurant tech space, and the pace of innovation is increasing. Yep. The depth of the technology and the difficulty in understanding it for many people is increasing. Yep. And so you think about these companies that have tremendous ability to impact the future of our industry, and they get their tech, their audience may not. How do you talk to them about telling their story when we're talking about technologies and products that are at a different level than they used to be?
I think everything always comes down to H, human to human. And that's why I'm so passionate about storytelling, because people start to believe in storytelling when it becomes too late. I'm so fortunate that my grandfather took the time at the end of his life to document those stories and to put them in a book. We got it translated into Bulgarian. So when you go to the village where my grandfather's from, my wife is from a different city in Bulgaria. His book is in that village for a little boy, for a little girl, and they can learn from his life, the things that he did, the things that he failed at, the things that he succeeded at. And maybe it can be an inspiration to them. And to your point about technology, the biggest differentiator that we all have is who we are. Mm-hmm. And if you aren't willing to share who you are, this is the craziest part for me, is that humans, entrepreneurs, business owners, how do you raise money? You raise money pitching your idea in real life to a group of VCs, a group of investors. So you've got to get good at telling your story, or you're not going to get any money. You've got to hire somebody that's a talented CTO or CFO or CMO. So you've got to be really good at convincing them of whatever thing you're building. Yet when it comes to convince the internet, have a conversation, have a short video on LinkedIn to talk about what you believe or why you believe in it, all of a sudden it's, no, I don't know how to do that. Right. That's why we create. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about it all the time. Just document what you're doing. I record every single call. Every call that I have, it's recorded. And now I have AI transcribing the notes. I record it. We document it. I do my podcast. But I'll have people that they'll ask me to come and get interviewed for some sales call. And they go, is it okay, Shawn, that we're recording this? Is that okay? I'm like, is it worth doing if we don't record it?
That's where you are right now. Exactly. But for the vast majority of the listeners out there and just the industry in general, it goes back to that question that you asked, what's their greatest fear?
Yep.
There is still nothing more terrifying than watching yourself speak, watching yourself talk.
Of course.
It's crazy. There's that story about Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Who never watches his own movies. Mm-hmm. And you always hear about these celebrities like, I don't watch it. I do it. And then I move on. So that is a real thing. And there's gotta be a way to get over it. And I think like you said, it's practice and just doing it. It's quantity, baby. That's what it is.
It's quantity.
I want to switch gears here for a second because the main topic of today's conversation is really about marketing.
Yep.
And how restaurant tech in particular can do a better job of marketing themselves.
Yep.
And one of the things that I followed for a real long time while I was at Crunch Time and to this day, for that matter, is Toast. What a freaking amazing company. The way that they basically won the hearts and minds of the independents was really through their grassroots GTM strategy of getting in front of the independents, getting in front of the mom and pops. And it wasn't necessarily because they had a better mousetrap. The POS market was absolutely inundated with tech and players, and it still is, right? But what they did so exceptionally well, better than anybody, and frankly, better than anybody in restaurant tech, was becoming a marketing confidant for independents and restaurants. They essentially created playbooks for restaurants and how to be better restaurateurs. That's almost unprecedented. I think I'd love to hear your thoughts about Toast and how Toast takes that spirit and carries it forward to really their ICP.
I'd love to ask you guys, what do you think Toast's market share is right now?
That's a great question.
What do you think? Give me a percentage.
10.
I think I'd probably make a fool of myself saying, but I'll say 20%.
I think it's in between that. Don't quote me directly,
Okay.
but I think it's somewhere 14%. I'm not sure what the latest earnings call is. 120,000 restaurants on their platform, give or take whatever total addressable market is. But when you are in the industry like we are, you live, breathe, eat it. All the best operators, you see the best operators, you go to the places that you go to. When on the East Coast, I'm here on the West Coast. My wife, she just went to Florida. She was down in Fort Lauderdale and then down in the Keys. She's like, every restaurant I went to was Toast.
Yeah.
Whoever's listening to this, we all know when you go and you check out, it's a surprise if it's anything else.
True.
And what does that say about the company? To your question, what does that say about the company? What does it say about the brand? What does it say about the storytelling? What does it say about the marketing?
Well,
for me, it's really exciting. Number one, because if they only have a 14% market share, imagine what the next 5 to 10 years is going to look like. And number two, why did we switch to Toast? We switched to Toast because we had a problem. We had a problem that they could solve during the pandemic. We had an online ordering problem, and Toast was best in class, best referred, top referred by the restaurants in our area, by the consultants that we worked with. And we decided that we were going to trust their leadership. We were going to trust their sales team and their marketing team. And not only that, but we were going to put them to the test. Because we are storytellers, my goal, back to the original goal of 2008, opening up a restaurant, not having any resources, was what if I learn out loud? If I learn out loud and I document the hardware, the software, the going live, how hard is it? What does the KDS look like? How does my kitchen staff, my line cook react to not having? We were terrified to bring in Toast that our line cooks wouldn't have tickets. The people that had the best onboarding experience was the back of the house. If we took down the KDS right now, there would be a revolt in Spring Valley, an absolute revolt, because of how simple a KDS is compared to a ticketing system. Like it's madness. I went to a restaurant technology conference just a couple months ago, and we were at this beautiful hotel. And at the hotel, we went to dinner. Ordered our food. 45 minutes later, the lady comes back and she goes, I'm so sorry. The restaurant's not busy, by the way. I'm so sorry. We lost your ticket. And I'm like, is that still a thing in 2024? We're still losing tickets? You have a printer in the back at this beautiful star hotel that everyone knows, and yet we're losing tickets. How is that still a thing?
That's scary. It's like a laundromat from the 1980s
It's
or
madness,
something.
but yet here we are.
Yeah, and
Can we go to some more examples? So we're talking about Toast, Shawn, but now let's talk about your work with Toast and the work with other companies. Think of going back to marketing. What are some of your favorite examples of how you and your pros storytelling, highlighting a problem, have impacted some of these companies and then by proxy their customers?
I think for me, obviously, I'm a creator for Toast. They sponsor restaurant influencers. They believed in our show when nobody else did. They believed in storytelling. They believed in the unboxing. We did that unboxing video because it is a sense of joy. Like, it's a very scary thing to switch your primary technology in your restaurant, how you accept payments. And we knew that there are other restaurant owners that are considering switching to Toast from a legacy point of sale system. And if we documented our own unbiased process of how does this happen, that somebody could learn from it, and maybe it would give them comfort to potentially switch to toast as well. And by doing those things, you start to realize that the thesis is right. People want to see stories. People want to be educated. And ultimately, it's not about Cali BBQ. For me, what we do now with our show Family Style, which is a YouTube show that we do for Toast, is highlighting the other best operators in different types of concepts, different markets. What are they doing? What products are they using? How are they succeeding? How did they fail? And if we can showcase that on a platform like YouTube and then take short form clips and put it on TikTok or Instagram or LinkedIn or Twitter or Threads or anywhere else that it goes, maybe somebody finds that information and it helps them in their buying decision to be more comfortable when they choose to make that decision to switch to toast.
Awesome. Guys, just checking on time here. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to have Shawn Walcheff, our guest today, give us his hate to tell you but moment. So, fellas, we'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Thanks, guys. Before we dive back into today's episode, I want to take a moment to tell you about CORE, Children of Restaurant Employees. CORE is a nonprofit that provides financial support to restaurant employees with children when they face life-altering circumstances, such as an illness, injury, or even natural disasters. As leaders in the restaurant technology space, we know the impact we have on the industry, and it's important to support the people who make it run. So a donation to CORE helps take care of the people who are the backbone of this industry. So visit coregives.org to learn how you can make a difference today. Again, that's coregives.org. Thanks, guys. Hey, everybody. We're back with Shawn Walcheff of Cali BBQ Media. He is the OG of online storytelling for the restaurant industry. Shawn, as you may or may not know, one of our favorite segments of our little Morning Sam, Morning Ralph podcast is Hate to Tell You But. And this is an opportunity for you, Shawn, to fix a wrong, to right a wrong, to set the record straight on a misconception. So, Shawn, give us your hate to tell you but.
I hate to tell you, but Kevin Costner's full of shit.
There you go.
Oh, what are you saying? If you build it, they won't come?
If you build it, they're not coming. I don't know how the Field of Dreams movie about baseball and cornfields and building stadiums for ghosts turned into this lure of entrepreneurship and business owners where we think if we build it, they will come. The media will come. Legacy media, TV, radio, print, magazines, social media, influencers. If you have a product so good or a service so good, people are going to tell other people about it. And I hate to tell you, but that's just not true. And not only is it not true, but if they do come, let's hypothetically say that you made something so great, our barbecue was so great that someone comes. Guess what story they're going to tell? They're going to tell their story about your story.
Right.
No one can tell your story better than you can. Only you can tell your story. And once we started realizing we didn't need to build LinkedIn was there. We didn't need to build Facebook. We didn't need to build YouTube. We didn't need to create an RSS feed. All of this technology is in our fingertips, literally in our fingertips.
That's right.
We just have to have the courage to look stupid and sound stupid and to get a little bit better every day at using video, using audio, using words, using images to tell our story on all these different platforms.
Practice and consistency. It goes back to that. Great stuff, Shawn. Chad, do you want to take a stab at maybe getting into a little topics, trending topics?
Sure, Paul. I know a lot of people would like to know your perspective, Shawn, on AI. So let's call it AI tech companies in our space. There's a bunch of them now, and they're starting to make some serious waves. Or just AI tools for whether we're talking about marketing, content creation, or marketing strategies that involve AI related enhanced outreach to potential prospects, like some of our clients might be thinking about or using. What's your take on the most important things we should be paying attention to in our industry related to
So
AI?
I will give somebody practical advice. So if you are running restaurants right now, or if you're a technology company, one
Hmm.
of the biggest things that we are using AI for is meetings, hybrid management meetings, multi-unit operators, or if you don't have multi-unit, if you have one location and you have somebody that's offsite, figure out a way to set up a Zoom call and have AI. We use Fathom. We've used Fireflies in the past. Zoom has their own AI. We prefer Fathom. Fathom's been the best use. That doesn't mean that in 6 months that's going to be the tool that we're using, but nonetheless, it is AI and it is recording every conversation that we have. But restaurant specific, we now have Steven, who's at our Navy location. We have a QSR Navy location, 800 square feet. He calls in on Zoom. We have our managers in the Spring Valley location. We have our chief operating officer, Howard, who's offsite in La Jolla over Zoom. We have myself, who's sometimes at Spring Valley, sometimes not. But then we have all of our managers sitting around a table on a laptop. Now, is it weird? Is it awkward to have one or two people on Zoom and four people sitting in front of a laptop? Yes, it is. But what's the value? Every person takes notes differently. Every person takes down action items differently. Guess what? AI doesn't give a shit how you do it. Whatever comes out of your mouth gets put down in an action item, and then everyone has a transcript, a video of what everyone said they were going to do, what everyone presented, and now we can be held accountable moving forward. I mean, this is the
Yeah.
most practical use of AI where it's not, oh my gosh, it's going to replace servers or it's going to replace the host. None of that stuff. I'm just talking about how can you use Zoom today in your manager meetings, in your development meetings to have something that's actionable so you can reference 3 weeks ago or last year. What did we talk about? What was the plans? What were the goals? This is exactly what we said was going to happen. Did it happen?
We could totally.
Sounds like the stenographers are in trouble, though,
That's
Yeah,
Sean.
fine.
yeah. We're gonna
Or the
replace
toll
the
booth
stenographers.
operators.
No, it's true though. Let's face it. From a day-to-day perspective, and just business operations, the Fireflies, the Fathoms, the Reeds, that there are a ton of them out there. I'm sure they all do their thing, but to have that consistent note taking and action items where everybody gets the same thing back in return, so everybody it's a level playing field across everybody.
Yep.
But yeah, you need to build that in. You really need to build that into your everyday,
I mean,
for
if you're
sure.
having meetings and you're not using AI, I don't know what you're doing.
Hell, I think let's talk about let's talk about that for a second. Where if you're not using AI, what the hell are you doing?
Yep.
Let let me ask your opinion
Sure.
about the GPTs, all of these different large language
Yep.
models that are out there, and there are at least half a dozen. But I think at this point, Hugging Face, which is an aggregator of literally thousands and tens of thousands of different AI tools that you can
Mhm.
find on Hugging Face today. If you're not using AI today, Shawn, in your day-to-day work life, are you an idiot?
I don't think you're an idiot. I believe I heard a statistic that 7% of Americans use ChatGPT, and that might be an aggressive stat. I don't even know if I believe that statistic. I personally have started using ChatGPT instead of Google. So instead of going to Google to get an answer, I go to ChatGPT first. It's a
Same.
cleaner answer, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Right.
It's a clean answer, and I want to test and I want to learn. But I don't think we're here in 2024. I work with some of the largest companies that have hundreds of marketers, thousands of marketers, and they're not using YouTube. We're just in a
Ouch.
very weird early place with the internet, and we take it for granted. And that includes AI. It includes
Yeah.
AI, it includes TikTok, it includes Instagram, it includes LinkedIn. We have these tools and we don't use them. I think
Yeah.
that AI is just another one of those things that's in the tool playbook that people don't use and that people take for granted until it gets to
Yeah.
the point where
Shawn,
it becomes seamless. Like the example I use for AI all the time is Spotify. I love Spotify.
Of course.
DJX, I just pick songs that I like. I'm
I
that
thought
even
I was the only one that liked DJX.
No, DJX is amazing. He picks songs and he includes new music that's based
Yeah,
off of the songs that I like. And all of a sudden, I have a new song that I like and that I can play for my son and my daughter and my wife. And it all goes into our family playlist. Like, that's AI. When
that's
I
pretty
sit
cool.
down at Netflix and I actually interact with Netflix and I give them a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a double thumbs up, guess what? They're learning, what do I want to watch with my wife? And they're going to give me the shows that are going to be better suited for what I want to watch. That's going to happen in restaurants. It's not rolled out to where I go to a restaurant and I order digitally and I understand that I always order the burger, but it's going to learn, hey, people that like burgers might also like this chicken sandwich that we just added.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. With AI and personalization is going to be absolutely huge down the line for sure. I'm not sure that we're necessarily there yet, but it's going to happen. Um, this has been an amazing conversation, Shawn. Thank you so much for spending so much time with us today. But before we go, maybe you can, as if they don't know already, tell the people where can they find you, Shawn?
I am
Where
weirdly,
can they swing a dead cat?
yeah, I'm weirdly available. You can find me on all the social platforms at Shawn P. Walchef, ShawnPWalchef, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the places. You can email me, Shawn at CaliBBQ.media. If you want to learn more about our media business, it's BeTheShow.media. You can learn about how we help our clients. But yeah, I'm grateful for you guys doing this show, giving back to the industry, learning out loud, doing cool stuff like this. My grandfather, he taught me to stay curious, get involved, ask for help. People that listen to podcasts, people that tune into shows, those are my kind of people.
Hells yes.
Shawn, you've been a fountain of wisdom today, and I know our audience will be grateful. I just love how at the end you just let everybody know that we're talking about AI. We're not talking about restaurant specific AI tools. So now it's a good reminder to everybody that's selling into this industry that when you think about a restaurant's tech stack, you need to think beyond just the restaurant specific tools because these are some of the most impactful things they can adopt in their business,
We
right?
all have
There you go.
a personal tech stack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Technology is
no kidding.
technology is everywhere. We walk around with technology, yet we compartmentalize what we use certain things for and what is technology and where is it okay in my life and where is it not okay in my life. I'm a season ticket holder for the Chargers, and I remember when they went to digital tickets, there were people were revolting. They were so upset. How am I supposed to trade tickets with my friends and my family? And guess
Right.
what? 70,000 people get into a stadium, no ticket. 70,000 people don't bring cash because it's a cashless stadium. Things happen
But it's
every
all
single day. Technology is all around us. We can't be scared. We've got to use it. We've got to test, make mistakes, have fun, and we realize our lives can be better because of it.
no doubt. Shawn, awesome, man. Go Padres.
Thank you.
It's destiny.
It
It's
is.
happening.
It is.
It's real.
Padres Mets next round. We're going to see it.
Oh my God. That would be wonderful. All right,
All
guys.
right.
Be well.
Thank you.
Bye, Shawn.